All right, guys. Welcome to Texas Gulf Surfer, episode 13. Man, we're like in the teens now.
We're not going to consider that unlucky, but hey, there. My name is Jeff DiNicola, man. Welcome to the show, all about surfing. Good for me. It happens to be one of my favorite subjects. But anyway, before we get into that, we got a lot to talk about. Let me introduce. Let me see. My co-host. What do I got tonight? The magical king of Surfside, Austin Campbell.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Jeff.
Boom.
Well, man, we do have a lot to talk about. It seems like it's been a little bit since we just had like a just regular sit down episode. We've been all over the place and having some good guests on.
Yep.
We've been having some events going on. I guess summertime.
Yeah, we've been scattered, man. We got some good guests coming up, but man, right off the top, man, I want to thank Austin and our Royal Knight, Sir Chet Davidson, here from Surfside. They orchestrated a paddle out for one of our fallen brethren, Trinidad. And you guys did just an awesome job. It was probably one of the heartfelt and certainly one of the biggest paddle outs that I've ever been involved with. Man, you guys did an epic job. And I would venture to say there was 200 plus people there. It was impressive.
Yeah, it's probably one of the biggest paddle outs I've ever seen. I counted, 75 people in the water is what it looked like to me. Les Freeze had his camera up on one of the houses, and Joe Umgren was videoing. Yeah. So we got a good shot from there. And then John Jones captured a little screenshot from Saltwater Recon.
Oh, that's great.
And had a little. We could kind of count them. So yeah, there was some good ones, and it was great because you had all the people out there in the water, and then you had all the people on the beach, and then you had a bunch of people up on the rocks. So it was, I would say, all the local, people that live here, local surfers, friends, family. There was people from all over the place. So Trinidad had
the community really showed up and blowed up.
For sure.
And you guys did a good job. I don't think there was many dry eyes. It was quite emotional, but really proud of the community that came out and supported him. But maybe the Wizard will be able to, as this podcast comes out, we may be able to get some pictures of that.
Yeah, we'll try to sneak some on there and see if we can get any on there. Yeah, so it was pretty good. So that's now that we're gonna. That's I guess the jetties now. That's Trini's spot now. So
yeah, there you go.
We'll be calling it. So
that's where he'll always.
But yeah, so man, we got a lot. I guess we got kind of a lot to talk about. We've been all over the place, and there's been a lot of stuff going on. Some contests here and there, and
there's a contest coming on, the TGSA Pro-Am. Professionals and amateurs all together in that daggum pool, man. It's going to be great. You'll have some of the best surfers, not only from Texas, but really from all around that come to compete in that event. And Austin just got back from, you just got back from a cool, epic event yourself. And because he's shortboards now, that we're taking him out of the longboard union.
Yeah, I don't know. Longboards. What are longboards?
Oh, there you go. See what a traitor he is already.
We just got back from Waco. Jim Thompson. Of course, we had our little mini episode that we had with Jim. Yep. Unfortunately, we lost some of that. It was, Waco. If you've ever been to that pool, it's like in the middle of nowhere. Matter of fact, it's like right by like the David Koresh stuff that happened.
Yes,
it's literally
the reception
right
wasn't
there.
too good.
Yeah,
it was
terrible. But yeah, it was man, it was great. We had like an hour private, and then Jim had, I think while we were planning it, Jim had hit me up, hit the whole group up a couple weeks before and said, "Hey, we're adding a open session, a public session, So what was I going to do? Just sit there and watch them surf,
No,
So we added another one, and then about a week before the day gets there, he sends another message to the group and says, "Hey, we're adding another. There's another open spot for a public session in the evening." So, what was I going to do? Watch everybody surf?
No.
So we went ahead and added that. So we had 3 hours that day. Wow. And it was great. I don't know if anybody's ever been there. They know 3 hours, back-to-back 2 hours.
It's insane. And then, I had a similar experience with KP.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And y'all went out, we've...
Listen, do yourself a favor. Go try that pool out. If you haven't, I like to tell people it's the most exhausting 4-foot wave in the world.
Yeah, it is. I mean, my back thigh... was just killing me for days, man, from just all, pumping down thing. And there was a bunch of us guys out there. Carlos Nunez from SPI was down there with us.
Ripper shredders, man.
Jim, his son, Justin. And Justin, I'll tell you this, Justin was killing it.
Oh, I suspect.
Mean, he was as good as anybody out there.
And that's Jim's son.
Yep.
Of course. Hawaii's ready to go. Man, before we do kind of an up and down the coast thing, man, Austin's got some new neighbors, man, which is really cool. Good people, Rick Morris and Larry McKenzie, man. Sun and Sea Cart Rentals. And let me tell you, they're open for business. Their fleet looks great, and they're literally connected to the surf station. So they're our neighbors.
Yeah, they're right in the fourth bay right there. And, man, they do. They got some nice carts. They got some kind of cool technology they're working with, or so your phone's the key or something like that.
Yeah, it's so great, man. And their fleet is awesome. So if you know people are going to come down to Surfside, rent a golf cart, friends, neighbors, people you like, people you don't like, man, refer them over to these guys. They're solid humans. So take care of them. That's going to be
yeah, for sure. It's going to be a good summer. We'll be here doing all kinds of things. I've already been talking with them guys about doing a little, more cookouts and some more movie nights and stuff with them. So
yeah, that is
going to be pretty cool. Yeah.
That's going to be fun, man. So what else going on? So what's going on? Let's do kind of a little mini up and down the coast because, again, man, we're just pretty much after this weekend getting back online. But we got some stuff, man.
Yeah, there's some different things going on. I know. So they just had the La Esquerda.
I don't know if I ever pronounced it right now, but it's
the left, right?
The La Esquerda.
La Esquerda. Yeah.
That's my shot at it.
Yeah. So they just had that, and
I got some good stuff.
Yeah. It seemed like a pretty good. I actually talked to Gabe.
Good.
He was there. Of course, he knows. He's always in Galveston.
Soon to be on the show. Just a little sneaker, a little.
We are waiting. We'll have him on soon.
Dude's epic.
But yeah, he said that it was pretty good. Of course, he said the Hopkins pretty much cleaned up there.
Yes, man.
Papa Hop. I think Papa Hop got first. Is that what you got?
Not to interrupt, but you're exactly saying. Apparently, I'm sorry. You're exactly correct. Apparently, this was the first time this has ever happened. 3 generations in the finals. So you got taking first Brett Hopkins, his son Chris, and then third generation would be Kane and the John Crannook taking fourth.
Right.
Legends Albert Shannon. I believe, and I hope I got this right. Dar got first place in women's. Keegan Soul second, and Molly Ware, one of our local surfers, excellent style she has, and they did real good. So there you got 3 people in the finals, all from the same family but different generations. How cool is that? Yeah,
it sounded like it was a good time, and I saw a bunch of good pictures there. Matter of fact, we were going to try to be out there. I actually got a message.
Yes.
We were gonna.
We got invited to come out there.
Yeah,
we're really stoked about that.
We did. Brian shot me a message over and said, "Hey, was hoping we could get out there, but it actually happened to be the same weekend that I was already planning on going to Waco. So, sorry guys, we couldn't pass up Waco.
No, next year, man, our dog and pony show is going to be legit. We're going to be there. Am I right?
And I told him that we will definitely be there next year. So the plan is by next year we'll have like a whole traveling studio or something.
Yeah, we'll be ready to go.
Or something.
Yeah, Brett also said the music was really good, so it was just a real community deal there in Galveston. Man, I'm glad that.
Yeah, I think they had some stuff going on the beach. It did look like a really good time, and some of the people I talked to, I think Wade was there a lot. Was there?
Yes, super good surfer, local guy, really good surfer. I'm a fan. Wade's a good dude. Hey, but speaking of the beach and stuff, man, tell me what my week looks like coming up because I need to get in the water, man.
So you'll definitely have some surf. It looks like the surf's going to start building, pretty much today, all through the week. But it doesn't look like it's going to be super clean around here in Surfside.
Okay.
We can hope maybe probably by the jetties.
Okay.
For sure.
So I'll be in the water by Wednesday.
Yeah, it looks like beside the jetties. Yeah. Now, me, since I'm a shortboarder.
Yeah. You got to go down to A-frames.
I might be down, or maybe just a little bit. I don't know.
Oh, anyway,
I'll be a shortboarder until I get tired of not catching enough waves, and then I'll be back.
Moving on, man. Tell me what's going on down in South Padre Island, Texas, man. One of my favorite locations to go to.
Well, look like I think South Padre. They're going to be getting kind of the similar swell, except for I think the problem there is the wind because we're going to be having some south winds, right? So I think they're going to have the same thing. It's just not going to be that clean.
Gotcha. So, what does the lovely Miss Erin Hartwell have to say?
Yep. So I talked to Erin, shot her message, and she was just telling me that they added some bay sports camp to their list of summer camps. It's paddleboarding, kayaking, snorkeling, sailing, inflatables, swimming, whatever else comes up. She said the water is super clear, and the waves have been mostly fun, when the wind backs off there. So,
that's great, man.
Pretty much Padre, they've been having a good early beginning of the summer for their camps and stuff like that. And we've, I'll tell you another thing that happened is,
tell me.
surf. You know, we have something coming out for Surfside. It looks like some kind of
What?
little commercial for Surfside or something like that coming out.
No.
So yeah, me and it might be a
not.
secret. It might be like letting it out, but
Man, I'm not in the know.
Me and Marguerite did a little shooting, a little footage for some surf lessons, and we had
a little promo coming for the surf school.
It's actually for the city of Surfside.
Oh,
They went around. They went around the whole city and did everything to promote tourism. So that's going to be something cool coming out. So
that is awesome, man. I like that.
Yeah, I think you've probably seen commercials from like Surf for South Padre and other places, Corpus Christi.
So we have a
we're gonna have
commercial coming
Yeah,
up.
we're gonna have like a little tourism commercial,
That's
man.
great. When's it coming out? Because that's perfect timing. We got right on the heel of summer coming on right now.
I just did what they told me and gave the surf lessons and did the interview and all that stuff. But I'm sure I'll find out when it comes out soon.
Austin
so,
Campbell, a media mogul. He could probably use an agent.
It was pretty good. So if we get an agent, it,
he needs a media agent.
Mostly we could get a producer for free.
Yeah, we're still looking for that.
But
man,
yeah, so
you've
that
done
was
pretty well considering you had zero training at this.
Hey, Google
show stuff.
You can learn a lot from Google.
There you go. Thank God for Google and Amazon.
But yeah, so
like
we
that.
did. So that was going on. The Escardo happened. That looked like a good time. Waco, the surf contest is coming up in Waco, the Pro-Am. Gabe said he was going to be in that. When I was talking to him.
Man, you know, I will not be there. This is the first year I will not be in Waco for that event. Just other stuff happening, family stuff. So, man, you want to see some of the best surfing on a legit wave. Even if you just go as a spectator, man, it is something else. Because especially the air show. I mean, I'm a fan. I go, I watch. I like the big airs.
Yeah, when they do the air wave. So yeah, I think almost every time I've been, I've just ridden the what is it, like trestle?
The trestles.
They call it like lowers or trussels.
And that thing is just perfect.
It's a good wave, man. I mean, you know, it's you can kind of get almost a little barrel there. You know, you can at least get you a Johnny McGee head dip.
Unbelievable, yes,
Sure.
the famous Johnny McGee head dip.
So, and I mean, I guess I feel like we haven't had much good surf lately because I mean, we had like some surf out there, but I hadn't seen that. I hadn't seen his trucks.
I'm really kind of bummed out. I'm bummed out. I have not been able to take off on anybody in the better part of 3 weeks, and so
I paddled my shortboard out like right before I went to Waco, and it was horrible. It was just terrible conditions, but. So let's see.
Stop rubbing that in our face. By the way.
Let's see.
What else? Up your Waco stuff. Okay.
What,
we didn't get to go.
Yeah, it was a good time. So what else? Okay, and so Gabe, another thing he told me, he said that he was working on. He just finished a couple walls that he paints. You know, everybody knows Gabe. You know, besides being a killer surfer, great surfer, he's just a great artist.
Yes.
And so he just said he finished up a couple walls in Texas City for a theme park that's going to open next year.
Yeah. Where is that? What's that all
Said
about?
in Texas City.
Good for him. Man, if you don't know about Gabe Prusmack, man, jump on Facebook, what's it got? YouTube, got everything.
Instagram, all that good stuff. Yeah.
Really good artist, man. He puts out some training videos, which I've been following, a lot of training videos and stuff. They've been really working on him, but not on me, but I still do them and follow him. Anyway, so that's that. He's a cool dude, man. We have him on the show, man. It's going to be fun.
Oh yeah. We're trying to get him on. So
yeah, he's multifaceted kind of dude. So
yeah. So let's see what else we got going here.
No, I know this though. You know, so I thought I was next to have the board made, but I'm 2 back now. But we're still moving forward in our design because we're going to talk a little bit about board design. We talked about some things about my board. Just a topic that Austin and I threw around. We said, man, let's talk about some boards, maybe into some fins and stuff. And
yeah, we've been having a lot of people ask questions on the different shows.
I got a polyurethane blank.
Yeah.
I got epoxy resin. I'm making an egg board. So now I know what I'm want.
Yeah, we went over a lot of the construction, like the material. We were talking about design and like we were talking about like
cloth,
why
the weight of the cloth, why that is.
And then we talked about like, you know, what board you're going to pick out as far as like, you know, picking out your board when you order it and all that stuff. But we didn't talk a lot about maybe like the different rails, right?
And that's the design part?
That's like the design part, or, you know, the shaping part. Or, you know, we didn't talk about the different rail designs. We didn't talk about why we put the fins where we put them. You know, we didn't talk about why we put, you know, 1, 2, or 3 or 4 fins. You know, or why some boards have 5 fins. It's never to put all 5 fins in, guys. If you have a board with 5 fins,
maybe you're Kelly Slater.
If you have a board with 5 fins, don't put them all in at the same time. That's not what it's for. So anyway,
that topic's coming, the fin mystery.
Yeah, and so we'll talk about all that stuff, and then, you know, the bottom contour. right? So
Yes.
flat, V, double concave, spiral V, triple concave, nose concave. We'll talk about all that.
No, and that's going to be important for me because I've got long boards, and I see when you shape boards for me and other boards that I have, there's all these concaves, and there's a lot of room for that. Now on this board for me, it's going to be 7.2. So am I going to be doing any kind of fancy underneath stuff, or
a lot of the board, the bottom design depends on where you're going to surf the board. Where you're going to surf it, who's surfing it. What the board's meant, how the board's meant to ride. So the whole thing. So that that changes everything.
So for here.
So for here, generally, for no matter what, here generally, what the one thing we don't have mostly a lot is speed. Right. I think everybody who's surfed here can agree that.
I want my board to have the most.
So we want to not slow it down any. Right. So the fastest thing you can have is a flat bottom.
The fastest thing is a flat
just
bottom.
Completely flat.
Then why do they put all that concave stuff on my longboards?
Well, on some boards,
go fast
on some boards, depends on where it's going or what it's made for. The concave gives you lift and gives you when you have speed. Okay.
Okay.
So once you get some speed going, then it starts to work. But if you don't have any speed, the concaves pretty much don't do. Some people could argue this and that, but in general, physics goes. Concaves don't work unless you got speed, right? So a flat bottom does the best. That's why if you notice most of my boards, we do flat to a V. And we'll throw little concaves in here and there depending on the design.
Okay.
To be 100% honest, sometimes people ask for a big, deep double concave. And, we shape it the way it's going to ride the best. And we'll just put a little concave in it, not enough to affect it. And they'll see a concave and be happy. That's just the truth,
So at this length, it's 7'2", an egg shape, which I'm trying to do, that I can use in multiple different conditions. So we're going to go with a flat bottom. Will that flat bottom still sustain me in waves head high?
Yeah, it's going to be a flat to a V.
Flat to a V. Okay.
Yeah. So you're just going to have as it comes into the nose. The first very beginning part of the board is going to be real flat.
Gotcha.
Sometimes on some boards, I'll actually have a tiny little bit of V right at the front of the nose.
Okay.
When you're paddling, if somebody's going to ride their board in a bunch of choppy conditions all the time, if you put a little bit of tiny V in front of that nose, you can't even see it.
It breaks the water, so to speak.
Just like a boat.
That makes sense. Even I figured that out.
It paddles out easier than if you have that concave. So here's the thing with the nose concave. As you're paddling out, that nose concave can kind of suck to the wave of the water a little bit, and that can cause it to not really, especially in choppy surf, not really paddle as fast. Right?
Can I still have that? I want that. I like that, but I still want nose rocker. And I know.
Rocker and concave different.
I understand that because one's underneath, but for me, everyone says, don't get a lot of rocker in your boards. They resist the paddling and this, that, and the other. But for me, it's a mental thing because I rode those daggum Takeyamas for a long time, and they don't have any rocker, and they mentally mess with my head.
But that's no rocker.
I know. I want to have rocker.
Well, yeah,
with the 7.2, even more so than the one over there.
But that's you'll have about same amount of rocker.
All right.
Yeah, because it's the first. It's the very beginning of the
underneath on my bottom side.
Yeah,
and
you're
a
just
little bit of rocker
flat.
on top.
You're just flat all the way until you get to about somewhere around the middle of the board.
Okay.
The middle of the board, it starts to V.
Okay.
And then it'll V, and as it gets closer,
to help with the turning of the board.
And that gives you your turning, right?
Gotcha.
And as it gets closer to the tail, it'll get more V, and that gives you your turn, your side to side.
Okay, I'm going down the board with you now. Totally okay with that. Rails.
So
from where that V is at the nose, tell me what
your
rail we need to do
traditionally
for what I'm trying to design.
You're right. For traditionally, you mostly have two kinds of rails. You have a 60/40 that's more high performance.
All right.
That can be soft all the way to the tail, kind of like a 60/40 soft. I do a lot of longboards like that, or if you think of if anybody is familiar with the Robert August What I Ride, that board has a 60/40 soft rail. So that board has no edge on the tail, but it's not 50/50 in the center.
Here comes another dumb question. When you say 60/40, are you talking about
60%?
Explain that to me what that is.
So instead of 50% being in the center would be just centered.
So you have 60% of that rail coming over on top, and then
40% after the tuck, after the
versus
apex.
a 50-50. So on this, we're going to tuck it around 60% here.
Yep. So you have 60
40%
and then 40
underneath.
Right.
And what does that do for me?
So it's going to be a little more stable, but it's also a more performance rail, right? It's a more modern rail. Your more old school rail is like a 50-50. A lot of people are going to feel that. And a 50-50 board generally is going to have a lot of belly to it as well, right?
Belly is what?
So it's going to actually be bellied. It's the same as the top of the bottom.
Okay.
So you think about how domed your deck is.
Because I'm visualizing this thing as we're designing and talking
Think
about
about how domed your deck is.
I'm with you so far.
So if your deck is domed, your bottom is going to be domed almost the same amount. So you're going to have a very bellied board. So it's going to be very unforgiving.
What does that mean? What do you mean? In other words, it'll be stable.
No, not a 50-50.
Okay, but that's not what I'm doing on my board.
No, we're doing a 60-40.
Right.
A 50-50 is going to be the same top, bottom.
That's more of a high performance thing.
No, that's more of a nose rider.
Oh, I got you. See, learning as we go.
Or a log, right. So you're going to have a 50-50 rail is very, very soft on both sides, right? It's going to be just, the board is just going to move. So anybody who's a beginner, 50-50 rails with a bellied bottom is going to be not what they want, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
But also, water doesn't shear off of the round surface. Water wraps around the round surface. So you don't get that release like you do on a shortboard.
Gotcha.
So on a shortboard, you have that sharp edge.
Sense. So for now, we're 60-40. Okay.
Right, 60-40. So you'll be, and as a board is shaped, you'll be like a 50. In the nose, it's about 50-50. Just because that's the way the softness of the nose is, and then it kind of goes into a 60-40 in the first third.
So I'm coming down the board. I'm totally solid on everything you've told me so far, and then we got the 60-40. Now, when we get to what part of the board does it start to make a rail that I can turn
the sharp rail? The sharp rail.
That's the word I would be looking for.
I would say most people start that sharp rail around 24 inches or so from the tail.
Okay, 24 inches.
Yeah,
is that also where the last measurement is taken on the board?
No, that's 12 inches.
12 inches.
12 inches up.
See?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so I mean, some people say 18 inches, some people 24. It just really depends on how. I would say, for me, I just usually start them around 24.
So then it'll start to make that. Tell me too when it is again, when it starts to harden off the rail there?
Somewhere around 18 or 24 inches.
Okay.
Depends on the length of the board and what the board's for and everything like that.
And then so we're coming back, and it's going to be a standard pintail. Is that what we figured?
Well, it's an egg, so it's a rounded
pin.
Yeah.
Rounded pin.
Yeah, pin is more.
That?
No, just a round tail, just an egg tail.
Round.
Yeah,
Okay.
a rounded pin is more like a has a more point to it.
Okay. So you want to make that board? I want to make that board. We're going to make it 7'2". What are our dimensions going to be for my height and weight?
More than likely, I mean, we know that everybody knows 23. Well, not everybody, but we know 23.
The 23
by 3
is the magic number.
We know 23 by 3 is the magic number.
23 by 3.
We're going to look to get
23 wide, 3 inches thick.
Yep.
Dude, is that thick enough for me?
Well,
I'm a lazy paddler.
I think that with the 23 wide, and when we say 3 inches, it may be like 3 1/8.
Okay.
You don't want to go too thick because you don't have that long of a board. And you don't want to still foil out the nose and tail nice.
Okay. But
so
I want to squeeze as much in it as I can.
Now, imagine this. Your 9-foot board you ride is 3 inches thick. So this is going to be a 7'2" that's 3 inches thick.
Oh, so it should float plenty.
Right. So it's going to be, it's actually going to be, those stupid words I hate, volume and liters. Yeah. So you're think of like you got this much volume in a 9-foot board, you're going to have the same amount almost.
Yeah.
In a
because my goal is once we do this and design this and make this, I'm gonna get good on a shortboard, and then I'm gonna join the Brian Dudley Shortboard Club. Get to hang out with those dudes.
I'm still waiting for my sticker, Brian Dudley.
Me too. You see?
Do I need to send you pictures?
I didn't get a T-shirt. Hey, Dudley. Love you, brother.
And that generally goes with most anything that's like a performance board, egg, fish, anything like that's going to have somewhat of a 60-40 rail.
Okay.
And you're in a 60-40 rail, just imagine your modern shortboard.
Okay.
Your modern egg, your modern fish, your modern longboard. All those boards that are performance boards, that's a 60-40 rail.
Okay.
And then think of like my board that I ride that has the really soft rail that's
Yes, that real thin blade.
That blade, that one's a 50-50 and bladed out.
Yes.
right? So
Yeah, big time.
that's a 50 feet, no edge anywhere.
I was surprised when I saw your other thing. You rode that thing doggone good. That
It's
really
2.5
session.
inches thick. Now think about that.
That session we had at the jetty was so good that day.
The thing's great.
Mhm.
But and so Gil got to paddle around the the board I'm building him.
Gil Romero,
Yeah.
friend of the show.
Yeah, friend of the show. So we're building him a moon pig in there.
Right, he's ahead of me, and it's going to be a moon pig with the.
He was ahead of Ford, and then Ford bumped him, and
no,
Ford was ahead, and then he bumped Ford, and then back. Now he's back. But anyways, so he got to ride that, and he told me, hey, paddle real good, but I'm making his a little wider than mine.
Right. And the good thing about it, we talked about all the stuff. When we get to actually make him on board, we're going to be able to go into the room and see different, stages in which it does. Yeah,
we're going to take some We'll take some videos and stuff like that.
We'll make it the whole thing, but just some clips of you shape and a clip of the KP and the whole thing, and Dougie.
And then, so as far as like fin placement goes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now we're to the back of the board. I'm solid with up top. I dig the 60-40 rails. I like the bottom. I like there's a thing at the top where the water pans off, and so I'm in. I'm in. This is going to be one great board. So now we're at the most confusing part of the board, to me personally, and I rely completely on the shaper, like Steve Hirsch I referenced last show. He just asked the shaper, "Hey, yeah, dude, what fins should I put in there?" Just the guy that shapes it should know what fins. So I'm going to leave that totally up to you. Doesn't mean I'm going to not ask questions and try to understand why it is. How are we setting it up?
So, I mean, we have this board in here that we have for sale right now. It's a twin. It's a twin. I call it the RT. It's a round twin.
Round twin.
It's almost an egg, but your board might have a little bit more roundness to the nose.
Right.
But so that's a round twin. So
I'm looking at it off camera.
So now an egg, and generally an egg is going to be set up single fin or 2+1. Right. So you're going to either ride it as a single or a 2+1.
What's a 2+1 for us old guys is a thruster?
No, really, because a thruster.
2+1.
You have your long box, and then you have side bites.
Okay.
Like you would on your longboard, right?
Gotcha.
Side bites. Now a thruster, the placement of a thruster is different than a 2+1, and you're not going to really want to ride it as a thruster unless. You've seen some other brands come in the shop that we've sold used or stuff like that. A couple of new brands that were like 7-something eggs that had just 3 small fins.
So let me see if I'm hearing this right. So the 2+1 and the thruster is really about where you're placing them, and
the side fins on a 2+1 are in a different position than the thruster.
So what do you suggest on this 7.2 masterful egg that we are going to build?
I would just do a 2+1.
So there we go.
That way you could mostly ride it.
2 plus the 1.
Yeah, mostly ride it as a single fin, in my opinion.
Okay, I'm sold. 2+1. They have the 2 sides got the snap-in
futures,
future
only made in the USA fin boxes.
Yeah, USA, buy local, buy USA. And then so now my middle fin box, does that fin able to move?
Yeah, if you're going to have just a regular big fin, so you can go all the way from a all the way to like a 5 or 6 inch fin, all the way up to like an 8-inch fin.
Because I can ride it as a single fin.
Yep.
With a little bit. So at that size 7.2, what would you have, a 7-inch fin?
7.2, I'd ride somewhere between 7.5 to maybe 6-inch fin. If I'm going maybe side bites or something like that. But single fin, I'd go probably 7.5, 7.5.
But I think I want to try it with the 2-3.
So then I'd probably go like maybe a 6.5-inch fin in the center, and then some side bites, that are smaller.
Man, it sounds like I'm going to need 2 entire setup of fins. Man, this is going to break me even with my team price. I would imagine. I'm going to have to make this dude payments. Man, I got 2 sets of fins on a new board.
Yeah, we'll get those special expensive glass ones too.
Yeah.
I would say that you'll probably have more fun riding as a single fin.
You think so?
So this is my theory.
Why do you think that?
This is my theory, and I think most people agree. If you aren't surfing in, big, heavy, fast surf or steep surf, your side bites just kind of cause drag, right? When you're paddling and trying to catch a wave, you just got 2 more side bites that are just dragging water. So if you get rid of those side bites and you just got a good single fin, and you could try different fins, you'll find one that you'll really like.
Okay.
You can do just as many snap. It's
I don't think I'm really going to be that picky. I think I'm going to hone in on whatever setup I like. Which, if I know me, I'm going to ride it with the 7 or 7.5 inch single fin, and just ride it like that. And then at some point, I'll probably experiment with the other fins and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm sure Johnny will say you're cheating or something.
That's right. I'm going to get good one day. I'm going to challenge the current state champion in shortboarding in the dinosaur division, the 60.
It's a single fin. It's a special. This is what it is. It's the single fin special. It's this special weapon, secret weapon.
Yeah, we need to have a name for this board.
So,
it's going to be the Jeff DiNicola model.
That's
where
it.
I'm going to get 60 cents off of every board that Austin makes.
There we
with
go.
My name on it.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that the egg single fin, 2+1 sometimes if you want to. I mean, I've done a bunch of quad eggs before, but I would say that's more for bigger surf. The thing about a single fin is, or having that big center fin box, is you get more drive off the bigger fin, right? And that's what we need here.
That suits my style a little bit more,
yep.
As far as I think. So I just probably see myself, especially initially.
I already know the fin that I'm going to put in your board.
Excellent.
It's already
excellent.
in my head.
So take me back just an episode. Now, 0 degrees, I'm guessing, is the center box, and that's here. Now you talked about gates or cates.
So you got your cants,
right? I wasn't even close. So now we got
and then
the
some,
cants.
like the race car drivers, car
0.
guys know that about your tires, right? Think about your tires being your toe in and your cant, right? So it's the same thing with the fins, right? So your center fin, of course, it's straight up and down, or it should be. Hopefully. Well, we've seen some boards, So your center fin's straight up and down, of course. Your side fins are going to have some toe in towards the nose, right?
Oh, I see. So
they're going to be toed in towards the nose.
Gotcha.
And that's going to be,
I'm with you. That's the way I visualize back
generally
in the day, thrusters.
Generally, most of us do somewhere between an 1/8 and 1/4 inch toe. 8, 3/16 or 1/4 inch toe, depending on if it's quads, rear, the rear or front.
Okay, so I get that. That's like this.
And then the cant.
The cant, that was the word to look for. And that's leaning in and out.
Out, yeah. You don't want them in. You only want them out. So then that's
out.
So 3.5 degrees for your
3.5 degrees
for your side bites, and then you have 6.5 degrees for your performance shortboards. Your rear ones. We're not going to give that secret away.
Okay, but on mine in particular, those two things, the one, this one, and this one. What are we doing?
Yeah, you're going to be of course, your center fin, and you're going to have your 3.5 or your cant on a longboard or a egg isn't going to be as much as a shortboard.
Yeah, because then I'm thinking I can ride that and what we got here on small waves.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, but I think we get the killer hurricane swell, 2 foot overhead.
You'll have
the old go.
Yeah, you'll have plenty of fun on that board.
Yeah.
It'll be like your shortboard. So.
Yeah, and I really want to try that. I've never ridden a shortboard wake on. I've been there sometimes, and I'm quite frightened to try it, to be honest with you. But I'm gonna give it a try next time I go up there because. I see the way guys ride that place on the shortboard, and I just need the right board. I think I'd be more confident, if I got the right board and got out there. That's kind of my goal with this board, and to be cool like Johnny McGee.
Yeah, Johnny's out there.
And Dudley, I'm getting in the Dudley Longboard Club. I'm telling
you. Yeah. It was. I'm not gonna lie, it was fun. That's the only place I ever ride my. I think I was talking to somebody the other day, and he said, "What do you think? You're a shortboarder now?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course. Every time I go to Waco, I come back think I'm a shortboarder until I get frustrated here." But I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower my expectations per surf. I'm going to lower my expectations.
Didn't you already do that?
I'm going to lower them. I'm not going to catch as many waves on a shortboard, and I'm not going to have as longer rides. So I might not even. I think I might just disqualify myself from me and Chet's wave our watch contest.
Yes,
because he's going to have me beat all the time.
Yes, while you're sitting on the inside of cruise.
But anyways, I think man, I don't know if we've been over here watching the basketball game, so we're kind of distracted sometimes. But
Boston 66, New York 56, third period.
We're not spoiling anything because this is the recording the night before, so we're good. Yeah, so no spoiler. But yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything. We're hoping to have. I'm going to put them on the spot now. I know next week everybody's going to be in Waco.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
So we probably won't be able to get a guest on because man, all those people are going to be in Waco probably, unless we drag up somebody. You never know. I got a couple of guys I've been knocking on their.
Yeah, we may have a fill-in, and then after that Waco passes, then we're going to circle back around and get Gabe.
We're coming after you, Gabe. We're
going to hunt him
we
down
have
like
to send
dog the bounty hunter.
We'll send an Uber for him.
We will. We will. I'll personally drive over to Galveston and bring you over.
Him up, so.
In my old
but yeah,
truck.
I think we covered everything.
We did, man. A quick shout out to Sandlot Rentals and Gift Shop down there by Kaylin at Culture Coffee. You know, I blew in there today and got some gifts, man. They dialed me in, man, with some gifts for my very special lady, Crystal Kirksey, birthday tomorrow.
Yep.
So they bailed me out on that deal, so I wanted to put in a little something for them.
Yeah, they do got some pretty nice stuff. A lot of times people come here, you know, if they're looking for something different, then we got some. It's not surf stuff, man.
Yeah, they go
and they got a bunch of like stuff for like just on the beach stuff, like for kids and like I think you know,
and
all that good stuff. Supplies.
Here's one I want to threaten everybody with: like, subscribe, share. I will track you down personally.
Yep.
Come on, man.
Come and see us, man. But yeah, I think we covered everything.
Hey, real quick. Also, coming up, we're a lot of people have been asking about gear. You know, Texas Gulf Surfer gear. It's coming. Austin's working on that. He's got a square, and he's got his own online store. It's coming. We're going to be doing some shirts, some hats, and some cool stuff. So please be patient with us, man.
Yeah, the surf station has a Square online store.
Okay.
We'll put that on the link and everything like that. So it's just Square online from the surf station. We'll get some of the Gulf Surfer shirts up and some other stuff.
Dude,
we're hoping to have the hats in pretty soon. We'll get the stickers, stuff like that.
We're going to do other things, little merchandising things. Fun to collect them and to have them, and helps us just a little bit to pay for coffee. No, that comes from Culture Coffee.
Yeah, we got it all. We got the hook there,
Anyway, man.
All right, man. Well, I think
what else you got, Austin?
I think that's pretty much it, man.
What about that cat?
We're out of time. We want to apologize to Matthew McConaughey. We ran out of time again, but I will say this.
He's in the back eating bonbons and stuff. Don't feel so sorry.
I did find your shoes, though. I did find your shoes, Matt. You did leave them in the glassing room
from last week, man.
They'll be here, so.
Dude,
all right, guys.
Have your maid come get them. Peace out.
Peace out. Have a good one.
All right, man.